What's up, man? It's your boy Jason Allen, aka Jason Voorhees, YouTube channel. Just caught a really good show with my friend
Dwayne Kennedy. That was all stiff.
I liked it.
Dwayne Kennedy.
I liked it. It was almost like insert name here. So first off, man, really good job up there tonight, man.
Thanks, Jay. Thank you, Jason. Thanks,
You're welcome there, sir.
Thanks, man.
So,
I appreciate you.
Who are some of your influences coming up, in the industry?
Richard, the usual. Richard Pryor, Cosby. Although we don't speak of that one too much anymore. He influenced me, from his stage work.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he made good Jello.
Yeah, he made it. He mixed up a lot of things well. Too well, Jace.
Yes.
But yeah, man, and Chris, and I'm a fan of comedy. I love everybody. Well, not everybody, but I like a lot of people. Marshall Warfield, okay. Franklin Ajayi, Carlin, to some degree. Man, Bill Hicks. Everybody, man. Yeah, a lot of people. I like, what I like about comedy, because it's like different philosophers. You read different philosophers and they all make sense, but they have a different point of view. It's like seeing different comedic perspectives. Like, oh man. But I think the one I probably gravitate to the most would probably be the type of cats that seem to be honest and have some an emotional subtext to what they're doing. Yeah. So it's not just a joke, but it's what led to that joke or the emotion behind it. Not that the only thing, but that's one of the things.
Yeah, it's something real. It's funny you said that, because I was talking to a friend of mine earlier, and she was saying that sometimes coming from pain comes a lot of laughter.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So when you can draw from that.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
I do know what you're saying.
You do?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
So I was watching some of the links earlier, man, and you were on Seinfeld, man.
Yes.
And I was watching it too, because it was funny with it. It was like that. Yeah.
Oh,
what was it like working on that show, man?
It was great, man. They were very professional. I had done up to that point, I had done maybe 2 or 3 other guest spots on shows. Okay. But that show they were just very professional, man. Very, just everything about it was professional, super funny. So it was a good experience.
What was Jerry like? I gotta ask, what was Jerry like and Jason like?
Jerry, we didn't interact too much because we didn't have any scenes together, so they were more focused on their lines. But he was cool. I mean, just checking to see is everybody all right, Jason was. We didn't have any lines together, so again, we didn't do much interacting. But he was a cat that liked to hold court. Like in between takes, he would be regaling everybody with stories about this and that. He liked to do that, tell stories and whatnot. So, nice. But everybody was cool. So, here's the thing, I'm gonna cut you off, Jason, because it's your show.
No, you're good.
Yeah, I mean, but ironically, about the thing that happened with Michael Richards some years ago.
Yeah, I do remember that.
But the funny part is, man, I had more conversations with him than anybody else of the regular cast.
Really?
We spoke the most, and he was the coolest.
He seems like he is. Like he was real laid back on the show.
Yeah, on the show. But then when he had that whole thing, that racialness, I think was the conversation with me and him the thing that turned him.
Ah.
Was that the moment he decided he just got fed up with black folk? No.
Wow, that's deep. That's deep.
Yeah.
So what did you do what was the pivoting moment that you knew that you wanted to do comedy? What were you doing before?
When I had failed at everything else, Jace, that was the turning point. Wow, I suck at pretty much everything. No, I'm just I had when I was a kid, I wanted to do stand-up, and then you just get old, you put it aside, and then one day it's you make your friends laugh, this and that, you enjoy. I love stand-up, love watching it, so I just wanted to give it a shot. It's oh, you know what, I'm gonna try it. So that's what happened. I guess there was no one event. It was a culmination of events that that's it. I'm gonna do it. Although I tried it, it actually went well the first time at an open mic, and then I thought, because it was you get at the time, I can't remember, they would give you 5 to 7 minutes. I thought that every time you went on, you had to have a new 5 to 7 minutes. So the first time went well, the second time went okay because I had a different set, and then the third time it went horrible, and I didn't go up again for a year or so. I was psychologically devastated. But then, but after a while, I started, getting up again, going up again. And then after about a year and a half, I started finding open mics, going up again, man. Although it took me a minute to get back into it, the first I had a friend, and we went to an open mic together. He just was going with me. He wasn't going up, and I signed up to do it. And when it got close to my turn to go up, I backed out, and I did that twice. And he went with me both times. So the third time we went, he said, "Hey man, if you back out tonight, I'm never coming with you again." So I finally got up and started doing it, you know.
I saw the link that you did when you were on, it was on the Letterman show, right? The Tonight Show?
I did Letterman, yeah.
What was that like, your first appearance? And you were in front of like, what was that, like how many people was in there? There was thousands of people in there, wasn't there?
No, not 1,000. It's the studio, you know, it's funny, the studios a lot of times look bigger on TV than they are.
Okay.
It was the Ed Sullivan Theater, so I'm not actually sure, I don't know, Jason, maybe 300-400. I'm not really sure. I'm not 1,000.
What was your experience though? Were you like a little nervous? Were you like,
you know what?
I got this? Like,
sorta. I mean, you always are anxious. You always have that degree of nervousness before you go up, which is something that you realize that when I didn't know. It's something I tell people who are just starting, because when you first start, you think because you think you're not supposed to be nervous at all, and then that makes you more nervous. But when you realize that you're always going to be nervous, in a way that calms you down, because you understand that's just part of it. So by the time I did Letterman, and what they do is when they pick you to do the show, when they have a segment producer who does the comedy. At the time it was this cat named Eddie Brill. So he goes to the clubs and I auditioned for him at a club. He saw me, liked me, they wanted to book me for the show. Then we work out a set, what it is you're going to do, and then if you're not from New York, like, and I was from Chicago, so I went to New York, and then they take you to various clubs, and you run that set. So I ran that set, I don't know, 4 or 5 times or so. So I had the set pretty much down. So and then it's just a matter of confidence in your material and techniques, you know, deep breathing, whatever you do to relax yourself. And then, so, you know, I had that usual anxiety, but as I can recall, you know, sometimes you embellish things. It was fine,
right.
You know, but it wasn't. I wasn't really very much more nervous than I was for just a regular show. I'll put it like that.
Okay.
Yeah, and the other part of it is sometimes you have to remember that the people in the audience and the host, they want you to do well.
Right.
So it's not like you're walking into a hostile group. Everybody wants you to do well. So it's almost like, you know, they're on your side. You know, you almost have to do horrific for them not to laugh. Right. You know.
Now, you also have written for shows as well.
Yes.
And some on Comedy Central. You did some work with Martin too?
I acted on Martin.
Okay.
And I did a special on Comedy Central, but I wrote on a show years ago on the Orlando Jones show. That was I tell you what, the first thing I ever wrote on, I wrote what they call Punch Up on a movie.
Okay.
How High.
Yeah, with Method Man and Redman.
Yes.
Yeah.
And how that came about was I was at the Montreal Comedy Festival, and I was, you know, performing on stage, and there was a woman in the audience who was one of the producers of the movie. They were looking for, and they wanted to. Initially, she thought about me doing a part in the movie, but they casted it. But then she reached out to me and asked me would I be interested in writing Punch Up, which is, again, they write the script is written, but they bring in people to literally
to make the script better.
Yeah, they had to make the script better. So So I did that, and from that, it was a scene that I wrote in the movie. And just one day we were working in the office, and I wrote the scene, and I said just talking. And one of the producers I said, "Oh man, I could do this scene just talking." So the next day I get a call, "Hey, we'd like you to come in and audition for that scene." So I auditioned for it. So that's how I wound up getting a little part in the movie.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you got to meet Meth and Red and everything?
Yeah, brother.
Tell us a little bit. I know you got a story.
Man, they were cool cats. That's all I say. They, you know, and they were. This was years ago, man. But they were like, their lives were like a rap video, man. I mean, just met a man, but they were real cool, man. Very supportive, and you know, gave me an opportunity. You know.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you prefer improv type stand-up comedy, or do you prefer actually writing and having like the punchlines and having the stories that you want to say on stage? Like, what do you prefer? Like, what do you like?
My base, what I start with, is it written.
Okay.
but then I enjoy when I get on stage to then see where it goes. So, because you always have that you can come back to, you know. So I like to be spontaneous and in the moment, if I can, if the show is conducive to that, where I can riff, you know, because it's like you have your framework of your house, you know what I mean? So you know you can come back to those things if need be.
Okay.
But in between that, I like to see where a set might go, because you never know what you might come up with. Yeah.
You talked about New York being expensive, and I've never been there. I've always wanted to go, because I'd love to go to like Saturday Night Live, man.
Okay.
I think that would be, rest in peace to Don Parnell too.
Yeah.
It's like, it's Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
What kind of advice would you give aspiring people out there? This could be on the Jason Voorhees YouTube channel. Like, you know, aspiring young cats out there that are wanting to get in this industry, what would you tell them?
Man, just believe in yourself and believe in what you're doing, and just be diligent. Just be diligent, man, and just put in the work, and just be relentless. That's, you know, and then if you put in the work, at some point, then everything else is out of your hands. You know, I mean, and the audience is going to receive you however they receive you. But you just do all that you can to be as prepared and, you know, as best you can be.
And what do you see yourself doing in the next year? Like, obviously you're doing the comedy. Are you still going to continue writing? Like, what do you foresee yourself doing?
Well, that's funny you should ask. That's funny you should ask me, Jason. You know, it reminds me of a story. Funny person.
Well, please go ahead and tell us, eh?
But I'm actually in the process of working. I will be writing. I'm going to be writing on a local late night talk show in Chicago.
Nice.
Yeah, I'll be doing that, and then we'll see what happens. And if first we're working on what they call a sizzle reel.
Okay.
That means it'll be like bits and snippets of the show to show it to the production company. If they like it, or the television station, if they like it, then they'll order so many episodes. And
nice.
then if they like that, depending on the ratings, then they'll continue to reorder episodes.
Okay.
So right now we're in the sizzle reel stage. Man, I got to work on that when I get back to Chicago Monday.
Wow.
Actually, yeah. And so the goal is that the show will be local at first. It'll be in the Chicago, just playing Chicago area, and then if it hits, then they want to take it national. So we'll see.
Very impressive.
Well,
Talking
yeah.
about TV, man, have you watched Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
I don't watch it often, but I like that show. It's funny. I don't always watch it, but when I do, I think it's funny.
Nice. You know what's missing in the industry, I think, man, and it's just an idea, is I like the old, like those kind of shows like A Living Color. You know, even Mad TV was really funny until towards the end it kind of got kind of stale.
It kind of fell off. Yeah.
But Saturday Night Live, same thing though. Saturday Night Live started out real funny.
Yeah.
It has those moments.
Right.
But
It's moments.
it's nothing like the original.
No.
Like, that's something that we need, because let's be honest, people are so freaking politically correct nowadays. You can't say nothing without offending people.
I know.
You know,
I know.
so like that's an idea. You know, put together a show like that, get an ensemble, some really good comedians.
Yeah, man.
I mean, look at Jim Carrey. That dude started out, he was just on Living Color, and boom, he was gone.
Yeah.
So, you have a website or anything you want to plug on here? Let people know. Let them know where to check your work. I know you got a website, you got videos.
Yeah, DwayneKennedy.net. I'm on Facebook. I have a Twitter account that is gathering dust. I need to use it more. I'm not as socially media savvy as I should be. People always say, you need to do this and this. I'm trying. But that and that's it, you know.
Nice, man. Well, look, I appreciate you taking the time. I know you want to get some crab legs.
Because they're free, brother.
They're free.
They're free.
And it's not so hot. Like, it was really hot.
It's burning up.
Dude, I'm skinny and I was losing more weight.
Yeah.
I was going to be anorexic before the end of the night.
Yeah, man.
Thank you very much for your time.
I appreciate you,
man.
Jason.
I really appreciate
man.
it.
No problem.
Stay tuned to more exclusive interviews. Interviewing Ghetto E from the Dayton family. I got the Upchuck Joe Frangimini interview, as you know, and I also interviewed R&B artist Leah Maya. You never know who I'll be interviewing next, man. Stay tuned. All you YouTube subscribers, man, I love y'all. Stay tuned to what we're doing. Shout out to Woodhouse Pictures, and shout out to Butterscotch on the camera.